Ninja Gaiden 4 has been out for over a month now with a mixed reception among the hardcore fans. Some say this is the best entry or the worst entry in the series. I think it falls somewhere in the middle with a score ranging from 6.5 to 7.5. There's a lot of stuff I really like here, and there's a lot of stuff I don't like here that is held back by questionable design decisions. This game, in many respects, feels like a step backwards from past iterations. I don't think it needs a razor's edge treatment. The leads just need to go back through the game and make some quality of life improvements and make some changes to the core mechanics. They don't have to start from scratch. My biggest fear with this entry is that they won't fix many of these issues and only focus on a couple of DLCs and stop supporting the game. If that happens, then Ninja Gaiden 4 will feel like a fart in the wind where people are going to forget about it as soon as it arrived. And there's no reason why this game can't have a long legacy equivalent to Ninja Gaiden Black and Ninja Gaiden 2. So I've created a list of 10 things that I would like added and or fixed in this game. Not all of these things are required, but even implementing some of them will not only improve the game, but may win over people who were alienated by the vanilla release. If No Man's Sky and Cyberpunk 77 could accomplish this despite being a way worse release state when it came out, why can't Ninja Gaiden 4? Now, before we begin, please like and share this video. And I'm not just saying that to help my channel grow, which it does help for sure, but more importantly, the more people that watch this and share it, maybe then Team Ninja will see this. Because while this video is made for your entertainment, of course, but the video itself would be pointless if the people that need to see it don't. If we don't vocalize our issues with the game, then they're never going to get fixed. So that's what this video is all about. Now let's begin. Ninja Gaiden 4 on Master Ninja can be a real pain in the ass to go through because most of the enemies can kill you in 1 to 4 hits, which is fine, but for those that want a challenging experience that isn't soul crushing, there has to be another way. Normal and hard difficulty become a joke once you've gone through Master Ninja, and I know you can do a fresh run or Death Wish, but that's not enough. So I got 2 proposals, the easy solution and the harder solution. The easy solution is to just create a very hard difficulty setting that works exactly the same way as Master Ninja, just not as punishing. The harder solution also involves creating a new difficulty, but instead it's called custom, where you can tweak the enemy settings like damage output, the limb rates, enemies you face, the amount of enemies at a time, how aggressive they are, their hitboxes, or tweak other settings like the rate at which your individual meters fill up, how much damage you deal, your movement speed, and so forth. This would be a big ask, but it would satisfy fans of different games because you could customize the experience to reflect original Ninja Gaiden, Ninja Gaiden 2, or Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. It would truly personalize Ninja Gaiden 4 to your playstyle without ruining the default difficulty settings, since this would be a separate thing. Next, let's move on to training mode. It's really good, and with some quality of life changes and general improvements, it could be even better. Jay made a great video on this, which I will link in the description below. His general requests were adding the ability to pin different strings instead of just one. This makes it easier to practice combos. You should be able to customize enemy attack selections. This will help you practice against certain moves. The same applies for choosing specific enemy actions. What we have now is nice, but it's kind of limited. Next, you should be able to spawn more enemies. This will help for practicing crowd control moves. Spawning bosses would be another awesome addition to this mode. The trials are great, of course, but having unlimited access to a boss is better. It can help you master the timing on certain moves, and you can practice the same phase for as long as you want. Another great idea that he suggested was to help players improve their timing by giving an indicator of being too early or too late on certain things. This is especially important for trying to time things like your parries, blocks, and bloodbath kills. And finally, show the enemy health and delim stats. Knowing this can help figure out which strings are more effective than others for dealing with certain enemies. Now for my suggestions. A difficulty setting should be added so you can practice against enemies on Master Ninja. They should add the ability to change the arena type. This can include traversal stuff like rails, surfing, or gliding, and even changing the terrain type so it isn't a flat ground, or change the size of the terrain. This would help simulate in-game scenarios and help you train in other types of areas. I don't know about you, but I suck with the gliding and surfing mechanics, so having a sandbox for it would be very helpful. My last change would be to add the dynamic move list as a toggleable thing you can use during combat. Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge did this, so let's bring it back in Ninja Gaiden 4. When I played the game on normal difficulty, the enemy variety seemed okay. It's less than Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, which isn't good, but at least the encounters didn't get stale. This opinion changed quickly on Master Ninja, where the encounters became even more arduous and boring with the same enemies over and over again. The problem is, the factions are too similar to themselves within each arc, which past games didn't suffer from. This could be a topic to itself because there is a lot to say about it, but for now we'll just get to my solution, which is simple. Just add in more enemies from past games. The Shadow Fiends and Vangels are fine, but the Black Spider Ninjas need some refinement, and should be in the story. They should also add the different variants, the mages, and the Archer Black Spider Ninjas. I wouldn't mind the return of other enemies from Ninja Gaiden 2 and original Ninja Gaiden, specifically the larger enemies. And with the Blood Raven mechanic, the alchemists would probably be even more fun to fight in this game than they were in Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. In general, I want to see some old enemies incorporated with these new mechanics, and that would fix the enemy variety issue. So we all know that the environments for each chapter aren't that great. We also know that asking for redesigns is unrealistic. So instead, here are some simple ways in theory, but obviously implementing them will be difficult to fix this. They need to implement the 3D map mechanic from modern Doom games, including the warp points. That way, if you miss something, you can go back to another location. The warp points would probably be the Umi and Tyrant stations. Having this map would remove the need for yellow paint because you can just go to this if you get lost. Next thing, that's not going to happen, but would it be cool if they made all chapters in each arc connected? For example, if you finish chapter 1, you could still revisit those areas in chapter 2 in case you missed something, and so forth and so forth. The warping mechanic would make the backtracking not a tedious endeavor. You'd probably have to add respawning enemies like in original Ninja Gaiden to avoid empty areas. Another big ask would be to add a custom map creator like with Doom or Halo. Imagine giving the players the tools to create their own maps using assets from previous games along with the assets from this game. A feature like that would significantly increase the lifespan of this game, and they could keep adding updates to further develop this feature. Now for a simpler fix to help in other areas in the levels. Make the traversal stuff skippable when possible. Some chapters have the traversal stuff as part of its level design, so obviously you can skip that. But if there's just a long-winded section that only serves to get you from point A to point B, like a pseudo-loading screen, allow players to skip these. The assisting functionality that they add in the game settings is great, but you can't get a score for the chapter if you use it. Now maybe if they change that functionality, you wouldn't need a skip function for the unnecessary traversal sections. Some people really like this stuff, and some people don't. So how about make a button that can satisfy both audiences? Next, let's talk about the accessibility options. Just like with training mode, it's fine, and with new stuff, it could be even better. Let's go through some of those changes I would like to see. The UI during gameplay sucks. so please allow us to customize where we want certain things to go. This also includes training mode, where the move list and the current combo are on different sides of the screen. You can customize the text for the subtitles, but not the menu text, so please change this. Or alternatively, create custom menu themes that are based on previous games so players can use interface styles of the past ones. Building off that, allow players to choose the style of their health bar between Ninja Gaiden 2's blue versus red coloring, Ninja Gaiden 3's health bar that will change in size depending on how much permanent damage you take, or keep it as is. Give players the option to remove the yellow paint. With sensing the path and potential 3D maps, you wouldn't need this mechanic anymore. Other things that should be toggleable are the red screen when your health is low, the slowdown before missions and after dying, and how often you get the same game over menu screen, if at all. The last one is the most egregious because it's a step backwards from Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, which finally solved the problem of players having to wait too long to get back in the game. Here's where things get interesting. There are many controversial game changes that pissed off people from both fans of this game and its haters. So let's go through the ones that I think should be toggleable. Starting with respawning with full health after dying, where you can choose to instead respawn with exactly the same health you had after the checkpoint. Next is the suck to target hard lock-on system. The problem is sometimes you attack the wrong enemies because you can't override the hard lock-on. So just add an ability to override it. If you're targeting a specific enemy, you should only attack that enemy. This should fix UTs and other moves that whiff when they shouldn't. This might not seem like a big deal on normal, but played on Master Ninja and this will piss you off. Next comes the checkpoint system, which unfortunately also has some issues. It doesn't save your progress after talking with Umi or Tyron, so allow players to have this as a setting, and also allow players to switch between using manual saves or checkpoints, aside from bosses of course, which should always have a checkpoint right before you fight them. A lot of people don't see the point of the checkpoint system if you have to redo so many things after dying, so this simple fix will address that. Next, the quick item menu doesn't pause the game, so just add that as an option in the settings, because if it doesn't pause the game, then what's the point of it? Next, bring back the functionality from past games where you could reset the camera. Now, this does exist in the game, but you have to hit the lock-on button, so separate these two if you can. It will be difficult since every button in this game does something, but if possible, please do it, and try to fix the other things as well. It would be a great way to get some people to come back to the game who didn't like these changes, and also great for people who do like the game but don't think these things are working as intended. Next, let's talk about the game modes. Ninja trials are fine, but annoying because once you complete one, there really isn't a point to do it again. But if you add the ability to change the modifier for a challenge or remove it altogether, once you beat it, that would add replayability to it. I would love to try Always Berserk on Trial 18, for example. This could break certain challenges, but you already beat it, so who cares? Next, please add the ninja trials that are similar to Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. This next thing won't happen, but it's always nice to talk about, which is bringing back the co-op missions, and then also bring back survival mode, and maybe even something like Eternal Legends from original Ninja Gaiden. Another mode I like to see come back into the game is Ninja Race. This game is faster and the levels are clearly built for speedrunning, so I can't think of a better game in this franchise to have this mode. The Purgatory challenges aren't bad, and by adding some variety to each area, so it's not the same box location, would be really good. These changes would help improve the current state of the endgame of Ninja Gaiden 4, which is not bad, but it does feel limited compared to what Ninja Gaiden Black or Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge gave us. Last thing, not gameplay related, but please bring back the ability to rewatch all the cutscenes and the sound tests. People love the OST for this game. Some people love the story as well. I don't, but for those that do, please add back this feature. Now let's move on to some more fun stuff. They added back Ayane to the game through the story, so let's now get her as a playable character. This goes double for Rachel, Momiji, and Kasumi. I mean, Rachel already has a caddiswire called the Polluta Tails, so she kind of already fits into this gameplay. I had this crazy idea that all 4 could be the dynamic weapon switching, which means you would switch from a character instead of weapons. That way you don't have to give the waifus several weapons for dynamic weapon switching, because you'd be switching from each character, which would be absolutely insane. Of course, if they want to just add new weapons for each one, I'm okay with that too. I would love to see how they incorporate the different playstyles of those characters with these new mechanics. Rachel had an awesome motorcycle outfit from Ninja Gaiden Sigma, so I can't wait to see what a cyberpunk version of her would look like. And speaking of costumes, you might hate many of my takes, but there's one thing we can all agree on. The unlockables in this game is the worst of the franchise. Would it have been that difficult to make different colors of Yakumo's and Ryu's main outfits? You can already change their color in the accessibility options. I know it's not the same, but still. All they gotta do is just add some free DLC that gives us unlockable costumes that are similar to the ones in Ninja Gaiden 2, either by completing challenges or by purchasing them in the store. I mean, by the end game, you have so much money and nothing to purchase, so why not add this stuff? They should also add weapon skins as well. Now, I think the only stuff that I can justify as paid DLC is original Yakumo costumes, because it takes a lot of effort to create them because you have to animate the Blood Raven stuff. But for Ryu, importing the rest of his costumes from past games and giving it to us, it should be free. I can't see why that would be that difficult to implement. And the Dark Dragon Blade should be another skin for the Dragon Sword once you unlock it, because it is the same weapon. This goes without saying, but let's get some alt outfits of the female characters, assuming they are added to this game. From Shiori's design, they're already feeding the Gooners. Let's make sure they eat well. And I saved the best suggestion for last, and I think you already know what it is. Ryu's role in this game has been maybe the most debated thing besides the combat. I already gave you my perspective in the previous video. For now, I hope that the DLC will give us new story chapters with Ryu. This could further explain his clan versus the Raven clan. It could explain the origins of the DDO, or maybe it takes place after the story. It doesn't really matter. The point is, we need more dedicated Ryu chapters. We know he's getting a new weapon, but let's get more than one, please. If Yakumo is getting a scythe, so should Ryu. By the way, the theory is that since Achilles broke the last seal and we didn't see a weapon, his scythe must have been the weapon. So just like Ryu, Yakumo would get a scythe from killing a boss. Besides the scythe for returning weapons, please give us the Kusarigama, just like how it was in Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge, incorporated with the Ninja Gaiden 4 mechanics, the Falcon Talons, the Vigorian Flails, the Tonfas, the Kitetsu. A revamped version of this could be like the Assassin tools, where the weapon has both long and short range weapons. If you're not going to give us the bow, this could be a decent substitute, and anything else after that would just be icing on the cake. Also, with Ryu, please add moves that he had in Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. Even with the Dragon Sword, it feels very bare bones right now. He had like 3 Azuna drops in the last game, so please bring them all back if possible. For some bonus stuff, maybe tweak Yakumo's weapons. Some people have complained about the inconsistencies of how they work. My problem is that the Assassin tools makes the staff worthless, because I think it's better in every single way. They should make its long-range weapon auto-target enemies that are long-range, just like how Ryu's bow worked in Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. The dual katanas and the Dark Dragon Blade are also better than the rapier, so maybe rebalance the weapons to incentivize the use of the rapier and the staff. And that's the list. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and if Team Ninja happens to be watching this, the big takeaway here is to add enough options so players can customize Ninja Gaiden 4 to create their definitive definitive Ninja Gaiden game. Not a bad way to solve that problem, right? Let me know your thoughts on my suggestions and what other fix you would like to see in Ninja Gaiden 4. Once again, make sure to like and share this video so Team Ninja sees it, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.